Shimikates, something very nice from the Rebbe's father, Rabbi Levi Yitzchok Zatzal. This Pirush that we're going to share will be a continuation from last week. In this week's Parsha, we have when the Shvatim came down to Yosef HaTzadik in Mitzrayim. He was the viceroy, and after they met, it says, "Haboiker oir," in the morning came light, va'anoshim shilchu, and Yosef sent off all the men, his brothers, etc. There is an interesting medrash on this pasuk, Haboiker oir. The medrash has a story. Rabbi Meir was once in a inn hotel. The owner of this hotel was a very nasty person. He was a thief, and he used to make a trick with the people whoever rented by him. In the morning, he would get up middle of the night. It was still dark, and people would want to start already going on the way, and he would try to convince them, "Well, come, I'll show you the way out of town to the main road." And he had other bandits, thieves, partners, so they used to be on the road. And whenever someone used to come, they would rob him, and at night or the next day, they would divide the goods. This man comes to Rabbi Meir, middle of the night. He says, "Come, Rabbi Meir, let's go. I'll show you the way out." Rabbi Meir says, "Oh, I'm waiting for my brother." "Oh, where's your brother?" "He's in shul." "What's his name?" "His name is Kitov." The owner from the hotel ran to all the shuls. He was screaming, "Kitov, Kitov, where are you? Rabbi Meir is waiting for you." No one answered. Came in the morning, and Rabbi Meir was on his way going out of town, leaving the hotel. So the owner asks him, "Hey, where's your brother?" He said, "What do you mean? He came." Hashem saw the light. Kitov, it was good. That's my brother. So all the Mefarshim ask, what connection is there exactly over here between Rabbi Meir and, of course, it says Haboiker oir, but there must be a deeper connection between him and Yosef HaTzadik. And also, your Feit Toyer asks, at the end of the day, had Rabbi Meir lie? He said, have a brother, Kitov, and he says, "Oh, man Hasholim, you're allowed to." But look what Rebbe Levi Yitzchok explains. Rabbi Meir didn't lie. Rabbi Meir wanted to say what he's all about. You know who I'm about? What I stick with? What's my virtue? Kitov. We spoke last week that Rabbi Meir and Yosef have a lot of many details in their life that are very similar because they all have the same toichen, the same theme. I'll just share with you a couple of interesting things. By Yosef, it says, Yosef, as soon as he was born, Yosef, Hashem li ben acher. Rachel said, the word Yosef means to add, to increase. Hashem will give me another son. Acher. Look at this interesting thing. The Gemara says in the Hoirius, Daf Yud Gimel Amud Beis, that wherever it says in Shas, the word Acherim Oimrim, others say, you should know it's Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir was under the name of Acher, as the Gemara says in Chagiga, Daf Tezvav Amar Aleph, that he learned Torah from Elisha ben Avua, who was called Acher. As Toisvis in Soita, Daf Yud Beis Amar Aleph also explains this. So Yosef as ben Acher, Rabbi Meir is called Acherim. Another interesting thing from this week's Parsha, the Gemara says in Sanhedrin, the Gemara says in Erevim, that Dubov Amud Beis, Stam Mishnah. Whenever you have a Mishnah, doesn't say a name, you should know Rabbi Meir. Mishnah is Rabbi Meir. Now Mishnah means secondary. After the Torah, we have the Mishnah. In this week's Parsha, we have Yosef HaTzadik also. What did Parah give him? One of the gifts he gave him was he would ride Bimber Keves HaMishnah in the second chariot of the king. So also we have Mishnah by Yosef, or we have Mishnah by Rabbi Meir. Another interesting thing from last week's Parsha, Rashi brings down, Yosef HaTzadik had a son, Ephraim, that says in Parshas Mikates. But Rashi brings down on last week that Rabbi Meir had a Talmud, a student like your son. His name was also Ephraim Makshor. So Yosef had Ephraim, Rabbi had Ephraim. But what's all this connected with? Look at this beautiful thing. We said last week that after the Chetzes Yadah says that the Eibishter dressed Odom Mechava with a garment, and says with a kosnus oil with an iron. And it says B'Torosoi, the Medrash says B'Torosoi Sharameya, in the Torah of Rameya, it says oil with an olive. We explained last week because Rabbi Meir, his goof, his body was so holy, it wasn't like skin, like oil with an iron that covers up. No, by him, his whole body was, his neshama shined through the body. It wasn't any concealment over there. You didn't see a physical body. You saw a godly spirit. This was a holy light that was just shining through. And that's why his name is hinted by Meir. Meloshen Or, light. And this was also, we spoke last week, is also Yosef HaTzadik. Now, Chassidus explains that there are many words that all mean the same idea. And that is, if you're a tzaddik, if you have oil in your life, you also toiv, means good. And midas hayesoid, all one theme. It weaves together, and that is, whenever a person reaches out to somebody else and you influence or you mashpia, whether it's physical things or spiritual things, anyone who gives something from a giver to a receiver, that's called midas hayesoid. And you bring light to the other person. And that's toiv, that's what good means. And that's what tzaddik is. Tzedakah means the actual dollar. The tzaddik is the one who gives. And the receiver gets that tzedakah, but the one who gives it, he's a tzaddik. He's being mashpia, and that's midas hayesoid. And that's why Yosef, we know, is called Yosef HaTzadik, because he was midas hayesoid, and he was the one who took care of his family. He gave them everything. He spoke many, many times. Rabbi Meir was also that. He was oyer. That's all he was interested in, just giving light. And here you see an interesting thing, said Rabbi Yitzchok, that there is a posuk in Yeshaya, Siman Gimel posuk Yud. It says, Imru, let tzaddik tell, praise the tzaddik ki toiv, because he's good. And also we say, oyer, in Tehillim it says in Kapitel Tzaddik Zayin, oyer zorua la tzaddik. Light was sown for the tzaddik. So the tzaddik is a person who gives good and he gives light. And this is what Rabbi Meir said. Rabbi Meir said, my brother is ki toiv. This is what I live with day and night. I want to connect to ki toiv. And he wasn't Chas v'Shalom saying something that wasn't true. It was very, very true. And that's why he said, the oir ki toiv, the light, which is good. It's all one thing. And to connect, to finalize with this, Rabbi Levi Yitzchok said this is also hinted in the Gematria, in that posuk, in the posuk in Yeshaya, which says, Imru, tell the tzaddik ki toiv. If you add up these words, tzaddik is 204, ki is 30, toiv 17. Add these three numbers together, 204, 30, 17, you get exactly 251. 251 adds up to Meir. Mem Aleph Yud Reish 251. To tell you, Rabbi Meir said, what's my whole mitzius? My whole being is just to be ki toiv, just to bring oil ki toiv, just to bring light. And Chas v'Shalom, he wasn't lying. He was telling him what I'm all about. And that's why by Yosef also it says, Haboiker oil. Not by everyone does it say that expression. Because Yosef HaTzadik also, his virtue was also to bring light to others. That's why Haboiker oil. And Rabbi Meir said, my brother is ki toiv.